Hey guys, Nicole here from Cole's Corner and Creations again. So excited that you guys are still diving into swimsuits with us. I've been reading through your blog comments and it seems like one of the things you guys are most afraid of is working with these slippery fabrics. And second to that was that you just don't want to mess up and not be able to use your garment. So what I suggest is trying to find a fabric that is dirt cheap. That's what you want to do. My first two swimsuits were made out of this fabric and this fabric. You saw them on the blog. I don't know how, but I scored these fabrics at Walmart for $1 a yard. So they actually turned out that they were really, really cute and really, really cheap. That's what you want to look for. If you can't find one that's really, really cute and really, really cheap, just get one that's cheap. Ideally, you want something that you will still wear if it does turn out. So don't get something that you think is butt ugly, but get something that's inexpensive. That way, if it doesn't fit or you mess up, you don't feel like you really wasted a lot. And when somebody says make a muslin, I really think, oh my gosh, I don't want to make a muslin. But it's really a good idea. What I try to do is to make a wearable muslin. I don't make it out of something I won't like, and I won't make it out of something that's terrible quality. But I do make it out of something that's less expensive, but that I'll still wear if it does turn out right. Odds are your swimsuit's going to turn out right, but it might not have the perfect fit. You might have to make some minor adjustments to get it just perfect after you make one. So I'm making the bombshell swimsuit, and I'm just like you. I have been waiting and waiting to make it. I'm afraid it won't fit. I'm afraid it's going to be difficult to get the fitting right on me. So I got this adorable cherry fabric from Girl Charlie. It was really inexpensive, and you can see I bought a whole bunch of it because I really like it and it was inexpensive. So anytime I need to make a muslin, I can make it out of something like this, and I know that I'll like it and it'll be wearable. But if it doesn't turn out for some reason, I won't have wasted my good fabric, which is this one that I really want my bombshell to be out of. But I got this one from Spandex World, and it was a lot more expensive, and I'm just like you. I don't want it to not fit. So make a wearable muslin first. Find a fabric, hopefully that you love, that's a little bit less expensive, and buy a lot of it. That way you can use it in the future for your muslins. Also, I never waste any of my swimsuit fabric, or any of my fabrics indeed. This is just a big jar that I bought from Walmart, and anytime I'm cutting out my swimsuits, I keep the little pieces because this could be a bow, it could be an applique, it could be a dolly swimsuit, it could be a lining, all those things. So I just shove them in that scrap jar and hold on to them. So now that you've chosen a fabric, hopefully you found one that's inexpensive that you're not going to be too worried about cutting into or messing up. We're going to talk about cutting it out. That can be tricky too. If you have a large piece like this, you know, this is like a couple of yards piece, the most important thing is that you want everything to be on your work surface. And you want to have a large, clean work area. Lucy, scan my work area for a minute. Can you show them my work area? It's not clean. It's never clean. I was going to clean it up for the video, but I just don't want to not be honest. This is what it looks like all the time. I'm always working on a zillion projects, quilts and pattern drafting and sewing and applique and handwork and whatever. So this is what it looks like, but I've got enough space to where I can cut out a child swimsuit, which is what I'll be doing today. So you don't want any of your swimsuit fabric hanging off the side of the table. That's going to stretch it and pull it out of shape. That's not going to be good when you're cutting it. So go ahead and take the big tail of it and lay it up on your surface so that it's not being stretched out. Then you want to make sure that it's on grain. The way that you do that is just by folding it and letting it naturally lay where it wants to lay. Odds are the edges are not going to line up perfectly straight. If you try to line up the edges perfectly straight, it's not going to be on grain. So just let it lay where it wants to. Okay? So if you are folding a piece in half to either cut mirror images or to cut it on the fold, make sure that you're cutting it with right sides together. That way, when you go to seam your pieces, you don't have to switch them around. They're already laying the way that you want them to be sewn together, right sides together. So lay your piece on your fabric, and I used to use pins. I don't use pins anymore. What you really want to use are weights. I've only got 4 of these weights, because I used to hate them and I gave them all to my mom, and then I found these later when I was cleaning and I don't want to give them to her because now I really love these weights. You just press them on top of your pattern piece, and then with your rotary cutter, just cut right around it. Super easy. If you try to use pins, or if you don't have any weights and you have to use pins on small areas like a crotch or something like that, make sure you're using a really